So Yola, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And I want to just begin by thanking you for your service. I mean, as a member of the Jewish people, the fact that you sacrificed yourself in your life for our brothers and sisters is something that's super inspiring. I just want to thank you for who you are.
Thank you. Well, this is what so many people in Israel are doing most of their lives, in the army, in the Mossad, in many other capacities. Uh, our life here in Israel is usually a life of struggle, as was our history through the centuries, and as was our history in the last 100 years in Israel.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
So I'm just
inspiring
a
to watch.
part of it. I'm just a part of it.
It's inspiring to watch. I want to sort of jump in a little bit. The Red Sea Spa is one of the greatest stories in our history. It's so connected to Pesach on so many levels, both in its location and in just the story of freedom and exodus that took place. Share with us a little bit, if you can. How did you get involved in it? What was the moment that you said, I'm going to do this? Take us inside a little bit from your perspective, how you got involved.
Well, actually, it was, to be the right person at the right time, the right place. It was like I was so suitable to the separation in so many different ways. So even though I had an incredible chance, it was to me so natural to become part of it. And because of everything that I was at that time. And here in Israel, people, and usually if you are involved in society, you get a chance because people know you, think about you, and people are all the time on the lookout for other people to do certain things for them.
Right. When you were down in that spa, so you're there for, I think, for 3 years. Is that how long was
Yeah,
the operational? 3
yeah.
years. That's a
It was a
long
bit more
time.
than that. Yeah, around 4 years. 4 years. Yeah.
4 years. So
Yeah,
that's
it was
not a
difficult.
weekend, right? Like people think of the
No.
story like it took place over like a week. It didn't. It was a long time that you were there.
It was a long time. There were several different operations. First with the Navy, after that with the Air Force, and so it was an ongoing thing till we had to just flee and get away from there, and it continued even after that because the
Right.
Mossad did not give up, and they continued with different people with a different cover story, continued smuggling people out.
Right.
Till they had to stop again, for security reasons,
Right.
for
And this
safety reasons.
and for those that are watching, this is what's called Operation Brothers that took place in the early 80s. It was followed by Operation Moses and then ultimately
Right.
Operation Solomon. And this really was
Yeah.
this really is a testament to the Israeli government in that, these are people from, a different part of the world that reached out and said, we want to come home. And they did, the unthinkable and bring them home.
Right.
I
Yeah.
want to go into your life, if you don't mind taking us during that period of time. And what was it like to be there, to be at a constant threat of danger, but knowing that you were involved in something so important as somebody else's freedom?
Okay, when you're in such a situation, it is, first of all, it is an exhilarating feeling. Uh, you're so overwhelmed by what you are doing and what you are part of. You don't think about the dangers. You are you are careful, of course, and you are very observant, and you're very alert to everything. But you're not scared all the time, of course. So because you're involved in doing, and you're absorbed by doing the things.
Right.
But to be part of, in so many aspects, it is so out of the ordinary. First of all, to be part of the Mossad, to act as somebody else, to play in a kind of story. It is like acting on the stage for 24 hours,
Right.
7 days a week. It is a kind of experience that is overshadows so many other things that people are doing. The thing that I did after that, thing that I did before that, even though it was really part of my dreams, my being, because I always felt I need to save the world. I want to do something for my country, and I want to be like the boys. I was a girl who always wanted to take part in boys' games, to be part in the army. At that
Right.
time, we didn't have the same opportunities that we have today. Today,
Right.
women take part in so many different activities that were closed to women in my time.
Right.
And so this is actually what drove me on, not the feeling of danger.
Amazing. Do you have moments that you can remember? I can only imagine what it must have been like watching the refugees, the Ethiopians, whoever, and watching them leave, knowing they left, knowing they got out over 3 years, watching thousands sort of like you're still there, and you're sort of watching more families, individuals,
Yeah.
sort of leave to freedom. Were there any
Yes.
moments in particular you can share with us where you just sort of stopped and said, wow, like this is really something special?
First of all, everything was so special, especially that I had most of the time, I had really a vivid vision of the history of our people. First of all, because I was so involved in stories about everything that happened before my time when I was still young, and I couldn't take part in the things. And this was like a natural step that became after so many other operations by the Mossad, by the country. Before that, the illegal Olim in the time of the British Mandate. And before that, it was like the same story all over and over again. And this is also something that you have to know. The Mossad is so different in when you compare it to other intelligence communities like the CIA, KGB. I think the Mossad is the only intelligence agency that deals with this kind of problems in addition to the regular, in intelligence gathering.
Right.
They always took care of Jews in dangerous countries. They always smuggled them into the country one way or the other, and it was always part of their activities.
Right.
So I always had a feeling that I'm like a part of a chain of events, and it is part of history. And as you said, Exodus, right.
Yeah.
Completely.
And I think it's so powerful in the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim, the story of the Jews leaving with each other. And even if you think of the story of the Red Sea, it's like so amazing that like we have a moment where we're crossing the Yam Suf and we're helping each other through.
Right.
And in many ways, you're a part of this mission that, centuries later are helping Jews by the Red Sea to cross through. Was there a moment or two where you were able to sort of stop and take it in, or was it always you were on? Maybe as it got towards the end, was there a moment where you realized that this would come to an end and you had to leave and you were scared? And did that come at some point where you saw this coming to an end and realized that you have to go and close up shop, and what was that like?
Well, we knew that there was this possibility, of course, but we did not think about it. We lived, every day for what it was, from one operation to the next. And I don't think that any one of us wanted to think about the end of it. So I don't remember exactly a moment like that, contemplating the fact that we will have to leave. Maybe on a grander scale, I was, because when I was there, I felt it is my life. And if it depended on me, I could have stayed there all my life in that place. And with that, the other identity that I had, even I didn't care, I forgot all about my people, my country, my family, because I was so absorbed in the situation there.
Yeah.
And thinking about the ending was not something that that was part of me at any time. But of course, we knew the possibility,
Right.
and we knew that there comes a moment, every time we were preparing ourselves for the fact, especially when the operation was ongoing, that we might have to just disappear at that moment and find a way out all of a sudden. It was part of our consciousness all the time, but it was not something that there was a moment I was thinking about it. Of course not.
Right.
It was there all the time. And on the other
Sure.
hand, it was not there. We didn't think about it when we didn't have to.
So looking back, and I thank you so much for your time. Looking back, once you got back to Israel, now even where you're standing now, what are some of the lessons that you think we can learn from this operation? What are some of the things that you take away now that apply to our lives today that we can learn, especially as we relate to this period of time where we are in our history, where we are in our calendar, that is things that you learned from that operation?
There are quite a few things that I learned from that period in my life. The first of all, that is that taking part in an important matter that don't concern you personally, and don't give, and not doing things for yourself at the moment, doing for the others or for a bigger cause, is something that gives you so much strength and so much meaning, and is very meaningful, makes your life meaningful.
Yeah.
The other thing that I learned is that when you have an opportunity, don't start thinking about the downsides of it. Grab it, do it, and hope for the best, because most of the time there are good surprises behind the corner, not bad ones. And
Great.
people usually hesitate too much. Oh, why? It's too dangerous. What will I get out of it? Will they? I don't know. So many things that you should not think about them at the same moment. You have an opportunity which is exciting. Just go for it.
Great.
Don't hesitate, even if you risk something. And I learned it, and in one way it was very natural to me, but I know now that it is so right and true, and I acted like that the rest of my life about everything. I would never back away from an opportunity that I had for something just because I'm frightened. I would never do that.
Amazing. Yola, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for what you do for
You're
our
welcome.
people. And thank you for being an inspiration to us. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show.
Thank you. Good luck and happy Passover.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching. For more content, like and subscribe, and be sure to tune in live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern at theshabbatshow.com or right here on YouTube.